Welcome everybody to Go Local Live here in Wade Bossett Street in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm Josh Fenton. Thanks for tuning in. I also want to thank Patrick Moynihan from the Haitian Project, who Skyped in earlier this afternoon from Haiti to talk about both his educational project down there, but also to discuss why the Haitian Project decided to not accept a $100,000 donation from Bob Kraft to the Education Initiative. A very interesting discussion. It will be up on live later on this afternoon. Right now, Kate Nagel is live up at the State House with legislative leaders relating to the new education reform package that's being introduced this session. 5 weeks left. Let's see what happens. We're here in studio with General Reginald Centracchio, former head of the Rhode Island National Guard and numerous other award-winning designations over the years. But you're here on a pretty serious issue on representing the Rhode Island chapter of ALS, and you've had a real personal touch from that disease. Do you want to give a little bit of overview of your relationship with Rhode Island ALS?
Yes, my relationship started through my brother, Vinny, who contracted ALS back in 1987 or thereabouts. And he was diagnosed with that, not knowing really what we were looking forward to. And we thought, in fact, his attitude was, he's going to beat this. And it just started to get worse. In fact, the first indication he ever had was we played in a band together. And this particular song calls for the saxophone to stand up and take a solo. And he was a great sax player. And this particular evening, he didn't stand up. So I kidding with him and said, you know, Vinny, you want to get paid, you got to stand up and take a solo. And he says, I just couldn't get off the chair. And that was the first symptom, indication that something was not quite so. And then it continued to get worse in reference to his ability to speak and other things. So I think the point is that, you know, when you are diagnosed with ALS, you really don't know what to expect. You don't know whether it's a diagnosis of something else and not ALS, because it's extremely hard to define it and to give a diagnosis of ALS. So consequently, I think my relationship with the ALS Association in Rhode Island started with that, and we began to look around and find out what might be available to give us a quality of life. Certainly not a cure at this point, but I think every single day that goes by we get closer and closer to perhaps treating it better, and maybe someday hopefully we'll have a cure for it.
There's a lot of research going on.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stem cell work going on. You're being recognized by the Rhode Island chapter with a significant award. They've got a major fundraiser next week.
Right, on the 15th of May.
On the 15th at the Crown Plaza. When you get together for these type of annual meetings, these awards, what's the hope? I mean, obviously it's to raise funds and to connect people. What's the outcome you're looking for in this event?
The ultimate outcome is a cure.
Right.
And I think the closer we get to that is indicated by the kind of progress that we see on day-to-day improvements they make to ensuring a quality of life, which is as important in many cases as it is the cure itself. If you can sustain quality of life as the disease progresses, that's one of the main, I think, objectives of the ALS Association. They do a tremendous job with that, ranging from outfitting a particular home, looking at the different resources that might be available, looking at whether in fact you may be a candidate for some test that they're doing, and certainly that's always welcome. But you pointed out, Josh, a little bit earlier, what is the ultimate thing, and that is hope. Yeah, because there's nothing else there. And if you can grasp that hope and understand that there are many, many people working for that cure, there is that hope. And so when you have this kind of an event, it just focuses more on the importance of making sure that we give as much attention to the ultimate cure as we do for the quality of life on a day-to-day basis.
The disease takes over the body, it debilitates the body. It can move very, very quickly in many cases. It also becomes a tremendous hardship on the family around the individual. The amount of care that's needed to be treatment sort of 24 hours, and in most cases it's at the home.
Yeah.
this is critical fundraising space, right? This is really one of the outcomes you're looking for out of the event next week, which is whether you can sponsor a table at the last minute or make a donation on the website. You're looking for resources to be able to help Rhode Island families.
Yep, and once again, you know, when you ask what the purpose is of events like this, it not only bolsters up the ability for a family to get through this together, but they know other families have been through it, and they share stories, and they share different ways and means that they've used to accommodate a day-to-day subsistence on making sure you can have at least a tolerable level of dealing with this disease. But I think, you know, to understand the disease, I never did understand what the difference was between ALS and perhaps muscular dystrophy or any other neurological disease. In this particular disease, as I understand it, the neurons become degenerated to the fact where your brain can't send a message to your voluntary muscles, meaning that you can't control such things as your voice, your hands, and other things, but your involuntary muscles continue to work. And I think that perhaps someday that might be part of the cure, to find out why there's a longer lifespan on the neurons in the involuntary versus the voluntary. And we always try to focus on that as we talked to my brother for several years. And there was always hope that they would just come across something. And the purpose of these things is to raise money to ensure that we can continue that kind of research and have that little thing called hope at the end of every conversation.
General, you're great to come in and be an ambassador for Rhode Island chapter of ALS. If folks want to help out, they can obviously attend the dinner and the awards ceremony. That's the 15th down at the Crown Plaza in Warwick. You're expecting a few hundred?
I'm hopeful we get a sellout, but clearly
you're a big draw, right?
Well, I'm not sure about it.
Do you still have powers within the National Guard? You can start ordering people.
Oh, I could do that once, and then that's probably
and then that's it, right?
Yeah. So, but I think I need to recognize J.R. Peglerini. He's been not only a friend through the years, but a very significant leader and the overall approach that ALS takes in the Association of Rhode Island.
J.R. Paglerini is to the ALS as Generalissimo Franco was to Spain. Sort of controlled that organization with a hand for decades. He has to be the longest serving president of any nonprofit in Rhode Island.
I'm not sure that is the case, but
he is high energy, high impact, and relentless on this issue.
Yeah, just to be in his company, you through absorption, gain a sense of urgency that perhaps you didn't have before you started talking with him. So the entire association has become a better place because of the leadership, and I think it's indicated by the number of things they do each year and the number of families that are serviced and the number of programs that are available within Rhode Island specifically, but it does an outreach program too, and it's not only in Rhode Island that they gain their information from and all of the different programs. They share it with the entire country, if not the world.
Great. General Centracchio, stay right here for 1 second. We're going to take just a 30-second break and go down to Jennifer Lawless down at the University of Virginia. She'll be Skyping in. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.